I've been doing bodywork since 1975, and I ran a frame rack at a dealership, heavy damage collision specialist, and for about the last 15 years I haven't done bodywork as a business. I have my tools in my shop. I just do it for myself. I rebuild damaged insurance cars for family and friends and local people. Guess this is my hobby. It's a Sunday. This is the vibe I'm doing right now, and I hope I don't bore you too much with these videos. Maybe they're kind of for body men who might be working on a matrix or a vibe. I've done a few of them now, and I've kind of found some things out about them, which I kind of show here, and it kind of helps when someone else has went before you and took the time to take a photo or explain how something works. So that's the reason that I made this video. No other purpose. I'm not really promoting myself. I have a regular job. And we're on US 41. Okay, so you say, what's your point, Jim? My point is, we just went for a test drive. Yeah, it's a total loss, all right. I'm driving it. And the airbags did not deploy. It's an Indiana car. It drives perfect. So here we have a perfectly driving 2006 Vibe, which is a Toyota Matrix. My buddy is a really good painter. He's going to paint the hood and fenders and base coat, clear coat. Perfect color match. Yeah, this car is going to end up having a marked title. It's going to have an Indiana title that says rebuilt vehicle. This is my original fender from the Vibe, and this is the only damage was right here in the corner. Actually, this plastic apron piece is fine. I'm going to transfer it over to my other fender. I cut this one section out. I sent that to the paint shop for the custom color match on the base coat, clear coat. Anyway, these pieces have clips on the back, and I wanted to show these can be kind of frustrating actually. What I did was I've got a 7mm deep well metric socket, and actually it works really well. You can just press on these and they release because the socket releases the clip all the way around. You don't mess around with pliers or anything. You can't take these off from the outside. You'll break the clips every time. So I just thought doing a little rotating, you know, they come loose there. So that thought I'd show the body man another little trick on these so you don't have to be chasing new clips all the time. Okay, there you go. This is the same on a Matrix. This was a good deal. I got my fender, my hood, all my front nose and everything I needed, plus some extra parts for maybe another Vibe. And that's the parts that I got. So maybe sometime I'll find a Vibe hit light in the right front corner, and I'll get to use these pieces. And I have some leftover little knickknacks, a lot of little nuts, bolts, clips, and hardware that'll help me the next time probably. And I decided to use a new Radiator Support top bar, and so I put it in at the factory joint right here, and so I'm going to paint all this and then put that back together. This is my original front bumper face bar. It wasn't damaged. I had no problems with my Radiator Support lower or my radiator or condenser. I didn't have to break down the air conditioning system. Did not have deployed airbags on this car, so that was nice also. I X'd out all the inner structure. It was all fine. There's no problems with the positions of the shock towers. And usually there's alignment marks on parts, and I guess at the factory assembly they're using jigs that put these things in position rather than alignment holes. So you can see here how I've put this back together, and just maybe thought I would help some person who's a body man that's fixing a Vibe or a Matrix to make a little shortcut that'll help you make some better time on your repair, and that it will end up a little more square. I had some problems with the alignment of the radiator support. I bought a new top tie bar here this piece, and it actually doesn't come with like this support bracket or that one or the brackets on the end, so you either have to order those separately, or I was fortunate enough on my car none of that was damaged. But there's also no alignment marks for where they go, so you have to do a lot of measuring, and you can also eyeball the old piece and get an idea, which is what I did. I did some tracings. I'll show you here an example. This is the bracket that holds the top of the rubber front nose cover, and there's no alignment mark anywhere on this for where it goes. So what I did was I made these templates, a left one and a right one, off the old radiator support before I drilled off these parts. So there's existing holes in there, and then you just transfer the template here over to the other new radiator support, and this gives you the proper position for this piece that you're going to weld in there. And the same goes here. You make a template that fits this part and corresponds with these existing holes in the new part and the old part, which are always in exactly the same spot. I bought a used front cut because the price of the new headlights alone exceeded what I could buy the whole half of another car from a salvage yard. I didn't have any frame damage really, just this area here was what was damaged, and so I cut this out of the other front cut, this inner structure. So as it is now, this car X's out absolutely perfect to the millimeter in every direction. Another thing I want to mention was I was fortunate enough to have a second Vibe that had never been in an accident, and I used it for as a model for some of my measurements. Also, when I put this back together, I'll be able to look at that Vibe so that I can remember what type of bolt went where in the position of the components. It's kind of nice. But anyway, that's my story on the radiator support on these cars. Okay, so I've got all the bodywork and reassembly done. Everything's been test fitted, put all together. I have everything in final prime. I'm getting ready to send the car off to my buddy who's going to do the base coat, clear coat on the front and blend back into the front doors. On this one, I'm going to have a car that won't be detectable as having been damaged in the past. It's just the way I do them, and because it is a hobby, I don't have to be under any time constraints that prevent me from just doing a really nice job on these cars. So all my body panel gaps and all my openings, everything's fitting just perfect. The bolts are just falling into place like they should. You can see that I have a very uniform hood gap, a correct one there, and going up the fender line, very nice. Everything's just fitting just perfect. You can see that the light fits the fender, and that I have a very nice door gap here. This is the used parts from the front end that I bought from a salvage yard. And we can go around here on the other side, and we can see my fender gap is very nice there also. There was a small ding here on the used fender, so I repaired that. I use only acrylic urethane paint products. I don't use any lacquer-based primers. That way I don't have any problem with shrinkage of my paintwork. We'll take a look here under the hood. I have everything put back together. The radiator and air conditioning condenser were not damaged on this car, so I painted all my inner structure with my paint that was color matched from the paint store. So all my components are just going into place absolutely perfectly. It's another really nice job here. It's going to be a super nice car. Thank you for watching my videos.